Welcome to edition 2, or welcome to the second podcast, the Hoel Roofing and Remodeling. I didn't even really do anything wrong in the last one, and then I start this one off. So, hey, I'm excited today. As we continue to do our podcast here, we're going to bring on some team members sometimes. And today our first guest is Chris Britt. He is a project manager, outside sales guy for us here. Been with us going on 10 months or so. I believe you started sometime in end of March, 1st of April.
Yep.
So just introduce yourself, family, hobbies, all that kind of stuff, brother.
So yeah, like you said, my name is Chris. I just recently had a baby with my fiance. He's turning 2 months old in 4 days. I'm really family centric. In my free time, I basically spend it with my family solely. Spend a lot of time with my brother and dad playing music, guitar, drums, anything like that. Spend a lot of time with my mamaw, between just going to church or hanging out at her place. A lot of time with my mom. And yeah, that's basically what I do in my free time. And then working here. So that pretty much is all my time right there, working here and family.
Yeah, man, baby Kylo, we're so excited. It's as an owner, it's really a lot of fun just to watch our team grow, and I'm so glad that you brought up Mamaw because I'll never forget, like, when we first interviewed you, you were like, my Mamaw, my Mamaw, my Mamaw, and things started going and you saw some success, and Emily's like, I knew he was going to be a good guy because there's nobody that loves his mamaw that much that isn't a good guy, and I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I'm speaking a little honest, a little raw here. My only grandparent that I ever really knew died when I was a freshman in high school, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. So all I ever knew was my grandpa in a wheelchair, and my grandma's passed, my grandma Hoel passed away. They buried her, and I was born the next day. So, like, I never got to meet her. So, yeah, that's, like I said, Emily, I love that you brought that up because Emily was like, anybody that loves their mamaw that much, we know he's going to be a good kid. So, so we're just going to talk here a little bit. I can't believe he didn't say anything about spending time with his buddy Nick. the entire reason you're working here.
Yeah.
But he may be a little heartbroken whenever he sees this. But no, all seriousness, let's just talk a little bit about your journey here. What you've learned, why you come, why you stay here, and let's just And I've got a good story to tell once it's the appropriate time in this podcast on you. So, but yeah, just like I said, kind of tell us about your journey here, what got you here, why you're here, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. So like the start of my journey here, so we'll kind of start in the middle of the story, but Nick had been working for you and he really, really enjoyed working for you guys. And I'm not going to dox anyone here, but he was like, I made X amount of money, and also I really love my job. So I was like, you show me you made that much money in that short time. I was like, I'll call my job and put my 2 weeks in tomorrow, like straight out of Wolf of Wall Street stuff. So, and that was pretty much what I did, really. Cause I mean, I was so stagnant at my job. I had been there for about 3 years, and it was the same. It was factory work. So the same thing every day, same thing. No like room to really move up. And not that I'd even want to move up because I didn't really want to be in management there. I didn't want to be there at all. So I didn't want any more responsibilities there than I already had. So that was kind of what led me here, was just like opportunity and growth. And that's been like my main focus since I've been here. And then to top it off, like working, it's the bigger picture here for me is to be a part of the family. I really enjoy spending time with you guys. Even if I have nothing to do, I might sit in here for 2 hours and just chat with Ellie, you, Emily, Adam,
bug my office.
Yeah, bug your office staff. Yeah, pretty much. Have them you paying them to talk to me. But yeah, I mean, opportunity and growth is really what brought me here. And I mean, there was some things earlier in my life, not that early, but I mean, within the last 6 or 7 years that I really took a wrong turn. And then I had to do a lot of work to get back into where I'm at now. And a lot of my motivation behind that is like, see my fiance and my son. And then I never wanted to let my family down. I always wanted to make my family proud of me, even though there was times where that wasn't like one of my goals. now I've kind of got back to my true self just through the process of being true to myself, really, you know?
Well, let's get a little real here. Let's, be honest.
Yeah.
I'm going to interject that story that I mentioned. So Nick, I remember Nick is like, hey, I got a buddy that wants to work for me. And I'm like, all right, Nick, you're doing a heck of a good job. One thing I want to teach you here, this is a prime time for me to lead you here. Like, as Dave Ramsey says, we want thoroughbreds here. We don't want donkeys. We want guys that want to show up and get stuff done. Not people that's going to bring us down. So, and Nick's like, no. There's some guys that I wouldn't recommend that I know to work here. But he said, no, this would work. Okay. So for me, anytime somebody wants to be a sales guy, the first thing is, do they follow up? Do they even call you? So I remember we were actually heading down to South Carolina to see my buddy, Hunter Blue, and actually going to a John Maxwell event with him. And I was like, give them Emily's number, have them reach out to Emily. And I swear, like 30 seconds later, maybe you guys were together at that time, I don't know. You text Emily like, hey, this is Chris. I'm friends with Nick. I was interested in working for you guys. And I was like, well, heck, see if he's got time for a call. We like to do multiple interviews in our process, and just, it's just our method here. So I call, we get on a call right then while we're driving to South Carolina, and I'm like throwing all the objections at you, like, hey, it's straight commission, it's sales, there's no set schedule. He's like, yep, Nick told me that. Yep, Nick told me that. Yep, Nick told me that. And, and I tell everybody that starts here, if you come in and you work your butt off, there's no reason why you won't make 50,000+ a year in sales in the first year. Fortunately for you, you crushed last year and you did a lot better than that. But you put the work in. So I was like, all right. I was like, let's just, come into the office, kind of get the vibe of the office. And I said, and then we always do an interview with your spouse or your significant other. And of course, since Nick knew you so well, Nick and Taylor joined me and Emily and you and Lex, and went to do the big St. Paul Tavern because she was working late that night, and it just made sense for everybody. And it was funny because I'll never forget when Lexi said, well, like when it's warm out, like how late will you work? And I just remember Taylor laughing. She's like, really late,
Yep.
And I was like, all right. And and we try to say that in the winter, we're a little slower. In the summer, we're all freaking just running hard. It's the beast. It's the nature of the beast. When the sun's shining, you got to make hay. When the sun's shining, we got to sell roof siding, whatever, So we agreed. We decided to hire him, and one thing that I'll give you credit for is I'm like, man, you don't make much money at the beginning. You're like, yeah, that's all right. Me and my fiance's got enough saved for the next 12 months to pay our bills. And I'm like, holy cow, man. Like, you ever heard of Dave Ramsey? Because I'm a huge Dave Ramsey guy, but it was like, I feel fortunate that we found a group of guys your age that are selling for us that are financially wise. You guys are super conservative with your money. And you just, sometimes I think you guys are bigger tight asses than I am. So, but it's kind of cool because there's such that persona out there that, there's not any good kids. And I'm so tired of hearing like, I can't find any good help. Like, make yourself attractive to good help, Yep. And like I said, man, we're so fortunate because we've got another buddy of your guys is Cody here now. Yep. And you guys are all like, you guys, I don't know, crazy. I've seen some pictures here lately, but but anyway, so we hire you. And then there was, your past got brought up.
Yep.
That, hey, you know what? I'm absolutely not here to judge anybody. I just said, hey, bud, like, we should have had that conversation so I wasn't blindsided, and it was kind of unfair how it was brought up, however it was brought up. And I was like, gosh darn it, I'm so excited about this kid. Like, he's got potential. Like, I want to watch this kid change his life. And I knew you were like 5 minutes from the shop. And I was like, son of a. And I just wanted him to be able to head on. So I was just like, Chris, come to my office. And I'm like, Chris, what's this I hear about selling drugs and you're like, man, that was my past. That's not who I am. Like, I'm past that. And I was like, all right, brother, I just got to be extremely honest with you. Like, there's two ways to get fired instantly with me, and that's a lie or steal from me. And you're like, no, 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 no. So, share a little bit of that, be honest. Why did you do it? Why did you get out? Just share a little bit of that.
So I did it because it was really like lucrative and very easy. So it was like no effort at all and a lot of money. And that was what kind of got me enticed. I mean, I think I was probably like 17 when I started doing that. And I did it for a long time. Probably until I was 22-ish or so. So it's probably been about 4 years now. But it was easy money. And that's what it was, because I always worked jobs as well. Like, I've worked my entire life. From when I was 15, I went and got a job at McDonald's. Well, then I started doing that, and I'm like, I don't make any money delivering pizzas. So it was a big change financially for me. So like, that was attractive to me. But then also, like, the negative side of that is I was always living in fear with like my head over my shoulder. Like, oh, am I being followed? Am I going to go to jail? And so and then what made me get out of that was I got with Lexi, and she's a good girl. And she didn't I don't want to make her sound like she was controlling or like made me do this or made me do that. But eventually she was just like, Chris, you need to get a real job, because if we're going to be together and be serious, and I think we'd been together for like a year at this point.
She pretty much told you to get your shit together.
Yeah.
We can say shit on this podcast.
Okay, yeah. Get my shit together. And I didn't want to lose my opportunity to be with her. So that was kind of like the main driving factor. That, and also I wanted to make a change for the better. You know what I mean? So that was kind of why I decided to close that chapter. And then I went and got a cooking job, made like $10 an hour. That sucked. And then from there, I went over to Klosterman's Bakery and worked there, and that sucked even worse. But I made enough money to pay my bills there, And sometimes you just got to be a man and do what you got to do to take care of you and yours.
Well, and I mean, actually, when we met Lexi, I knew you were going to be a good salesman. If she wouldn't have anything to do with you for very long at all, you were a good salesman. And hey, you guys watched the first podcast. I'm a good salesman too. So that's how I judge salesmen. So if you're looking to sell for me, make sure that you're dating up or you married up, and you're probably you probably got a job offer coming. But no, I appreciate your honesty, because I've never struggled with that. If I'm being honest, like, my dad threatened me so much that there was never a desire for that. And like I said, I'm a believer in Christ, and I'm not going to judge. People have passed. Honestly, a lot of roofing owners will tell you the best salesman they have used to sell drugs. So no, that's not a prerequisite to work here. But some people are going to judge you for that, and that's their problem, in my opinion. If you're a stand-up dude doing what is right now, trying to provide for your family, because I know some people would say, well, you're going to hurt your brand by having this podcast and, talking about this, but I don't think so. Like I said, we're going to lose a few, but I think we're going to gain a lot of respect from other people. Because, you do, man, you come in and love the shit out of my kids. You're playing, the other day I walked in and you're sitting by the Christmas tree playing Barbies with my daughters. So as your leader, I hate saying owner, I hate saying boss, because I don't like them words. But as your leader, I appreciate that. And like you said, you want to be part of the family. And we just got done doing a bunch of year-end goal setting for 2023, and this whole vision board stuff. And every person that came in my office said they really like the family atmosphere, and I want that. Like I said, I love when I got over to see baby Kylo. I know Emily and the kids were too young. They were disappointed, but they eventually got to meet him, and that's what makes it fun to lead this, because man, there's days that we just loved Ellie, and we're still love Ellie through losing her dad. That sucks, man. That's days that it's a lot darker being the leader than a lot of people understand. So when we get to talk about baby Kylo or get a picture, every once in a while, the girls will message Lex and be like, come by, bring that baby by, you know. So that's a lot of fun there. But, you know, let's also talk with, you know, we're also big helping roofers in recovery. And I know you and Nick have a really good buddy that unfortunately you guys lost to overdose. And also know that Lexi had a cousin that actually overdosed in your house. So, you know, one thing that the other day, Chris, you were telling me, you're like, man, my dad, he's like, now the older I get, I realize like how much my dad put me first on, you know, you say he would work a third shift job, I think, and run you the basketball. We're working Indy, run you the basketball in Indy, run you back, and then run back to work. And, you know, you've always said that, you know, your parents loved you well. You're just a dumb teenager.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's why you got into that stuff. But, you know, one thing that you've told me a couple times is like your dad, like he did threaten you to stay the hell away from heroin and that kind of stuff, you know. So just kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So first things first, my parents did not raise me to make any of the choices that I did make. I had wonderful parents. We went camping every weekend, boating. My dad took me to all my sporting events. You know, my mom always supported me, made sure I was doing what I needed to do in school and whatnot. But as I got older, you know, my friends were making some choices that they shouldn't have been making. I was making choices I shouldn't have been making. And we all kind of just collided together and made a lot of bad choices together. But I started using, well, actually, I'd like to say rest in peace to Dalton DiMartino first. My buddy, he's been a longtime friend. He passed away due to heroin. And then I'd also like to say happy birthday to Dustin Gilbert, Lexi's cousin and my buddy. He died from heroin as well. His birthday was yesterday, so I'd like to say rest in peace to him as well. But so I started dabbling in drugs and whatnot, probably around high school. And I didn't do a whole lot of like pills or anything like that. I mainly smoked pot, and then I started doing coke. So that got really bad. I would say I did it for probably 5 years, 4 to 5 times a week. And then for like 6 months, it was every day. And I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and I was crying because I realized that I had became like everything. Like my friends would come to me whenever they were using heroin and stuff. They would come to me and like I would kind of try to talk them out of it because while what I was doing wasn't any better realistically, it wasn't as deadly. So like when my friends would be doing their drugs, I would be concerned for their lives, you know. But I realized that even though I thought that what I was doing was better, I wasn't any better. And I kind of came to that realization that like this has to stop here. And it didn't stop there. It was for me to actually quit, probably took me like a year. And I didn't go to rehab. I would stop for 2 months and then I would do it. And then I'd stop for another month and I would do it. I'd stop for another month and I would do it. So it slowed down. And then with being with Lexi and everything, I remember she used to have to wake me up at night to make sure I was still alive because she felt like I quit breathing like 2 or 3 times a night. And like to put her through that stress mentally, no one deserves that. And, you know, and also she was like, hey, quit your shit. If you want to be with me, quit your shit. So I made that choice, that I didn't want to live like that anymore. And, that was kind of what, that just made me quit. I realized I had more things to live for than getting high. I had family. Every time I did that, I took the chance I was going to die. I have nieces that love me. My parents love me. They didn't raise me to do that. My mama loves me. You know what I mean? My papa, rest in peace now, but he loved me. So like, when you're doing things like that, you don't really, well, one, you never think this is my last time. You never think that. So you're not thinking like my buddy Dalton. He didn't think that was going to be his last time. You know, his mom, I love his mom to death. We're very close. And like, she's a great mom. His dad, great dad. Then drugs don't choose. And that's another message that I want to get across to people. It does not choose. It'll take anybody. And it's just, if you're listening to this and you're struggling with addiction, I want you to use me as an example of someone that can turn it around, because it's crazy that it seems so distant from where I'm at now that it's almost like that wasn't even my life at this point. But I still try to remember that was me and make sure I never pass judgment on anybody that's in that situation. And if you're watching this and you don't know me personally, but you are going through something like that, feel free to reach out to me and we can discuss it. I'd love to help anybody that I could in that situation.
All right, guys. That's why I love this guy right here. And I also, going back to Mamaw, like you've told me, like, Bob, she's loved me like when I was using drugs, and she knew that, and she just kept saying, like, she begged you to quit and say, I love you, Chris. And, that's powerful, because we all need people that love us. And we all have to love people through, I don't want to say the dark side, but like
it's definitely the dark side,
dark times, like we have to do that. Like, that's what friends do, man. Like they show up for you, and, like wow, I didn't even know you used that long. So, that I was, hopefully my face didn't show it too bad. I was like, oh my gosh, like, and, you had opened up to me and Emily about that. And, that's why, we can get behind supporting places like Roofers in Recovery. And one thing that, Nick, your good buddy, Nick Good, that works here with us, he wants to, we're in the process of working on at the very beginning stage, but he's wanting to give back more to the addiction community in Shelbyville. So I'm kind of pushing him as his leader to make a step, take a step and just get some stuff rolling, because you never know, like, you never know what this podcast, if 2 people watch this thing, if we're lucky, Lexi and I don't know who else, but
Mammal.
Mammaw's gonna watch it. However, you just never know. There may be somebody that watches this and they reach out to Chris or reach out to me, and we'll put you in contact, with someone. But it also goes to prove that if you want to, you can change your life. And, also, like, you've put the work in it. You're making really good money now, but you work your butt off, and you've got a bigger why. Like, that's the thing in life. Like, you got to have a why, with me and Emily. Like, we look at the team that we can help build here. We look at your life. We looked at little baby Kylo, like that gets me excited every day for, as Emily said in the podcast, when you get kicked in the nuts, so you just got to get up and keep going. And, so thankful that, the good Lord spared you from your dumb shit. He spared us from all of our dumb shit,
Right.
And that you're here with us, because you're an important part of the team. And, we really have a lot of fun. We're getting ready to have a lunch here shortly, and then we got our work Christmas party tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to that. Just adults only. We had one with the kiddos there a couple of weeks ago, and just with that. But I guess as we wrap up, like, do you have anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I actually would like to touch a little bit more on what Nick was wanting to do. Yeah, because we were talking about that the other night. He doesn't know, I think he's like got kind of the idea for it, but doesn't know exactly. But he was just talking about trying to start a program to help people in recovery, which I would love to be a part of that with him. And also, that's what my fiance is going to college for right now, is psychology and addiction. So she wants to work with addicts as well, which is just like, I'm glad that my friend who I associate myself with, they're so passionate about trying to help people that are in those situations. And unfortunately, we're all affected by it, like, very personally. Everyone in my inner circle is affected by it very personally, whether they were an addict or lost someone who was an addict. And yeah, that's kind of, I'd like to close it out just by reiterating that and just saying, if you need help, seek it. And if you feel like you have no one to talk to, you can talk to me.
Well, and also we'll keep it going for another minute or so. Like,
Okay.
There's a lot of addictions out there that aren't drugs. There's porn, there's food. I stress eat myself. Try to be way more intentional here in the new year. Just because I know I don't show up as good of a leader as I can. If the better I feel, the better I'm going to show up, and that's, addiction affects every single one of us, if it's alcohol, if it's drugs, if it's food, if it's porn, if it's gambling, like all that, like, you know, and, you know, a lot of people know that our passion, mine and Emily's, is the financial piece, the foundation of personal finance to help kids. But, you know, there's a big need for that, but there's also a massive need for that. And I'm glad to hear that you and Nick are talking about it some, because like I told him I would throw some money at it to help him get it going. Like, I don't want that to be the reason, you know. And like I've said, man, like we've built an awesome culture here. But I just want to continue to grow, and I don't want it to ever be about like us and like staying safe. Like, you know, we'll talk about this for a little bit. I'll never forget, me and Chris had a conversation last summer, and he was starting to make really good money. And I was like, Chris, what would you do? Somehow it got brought up. What would you do if you had all the money in the world? And he's like, I would help build houses for people that need it. I was like, okay. And I've got a friend that's in the Revolt Mastermind that I'm part of, JP. He's over in Dayton, Ohio. And JP has he used to be a fighter, man. His hand is the size of mine and your head put together. I've got a decent sized hand. When I shake his hand, I feel like I got to use two hands to shake his one hand, you know. But he's got a heart for ministry, and I believe it's Africa. Now that I kind of put myself on the spot here, I'm second guessing myself, but Adam's giving me the nod that I'm right. But he's helped over there. And one thing about our Revolt Mastermind that I'm part of, JP says the gentleman that leads that, Hunter, JP was talking about how him and his family sponsor a couple kids, and Hunter's like, well, why are you so selfish? And JP's like, what do you mean selfish? Like, we're sponsoring these kids. And he's like, why don't you tell people about it? Why don't you invite other people to help you with that? And I believe since then, within a year or maybe 18 months, it's over 100 kids they've helped. And me and Chris are looking at going in March to help build a wall. And I don't know if you've ever been to third world countries or not, but they a lot of times they build compounds because they build a nice building, but they've got to protect it with a gate and with pretty much usually they use like center blocks. But I've been to Haiti a couple of times in Port-au-Prince, which is a major city over there. Anyways, it's really sad because they built a school here in Africa, and there are people that prey on the kids that go there and will steal them while they're at school and go sell them on the sex market or sex slave, or I'm really ignorant on the terminology there.
Right.
But it's like, holy cow. So I reached out to Chris. We're in Utah a few weeks ago, me and my Revolt brothers. And I'm like, Chris, we have this opportunity. He responds, I'll donate money and I'll go, like, instantly. And that's the team we want. One of our core values is generosity as a company. Like that meant a lot. And I'm looking forward. I'm hoping it works out for both of us to go, because what a way to bond, brother.
Yeah.
And actually me and Emily just had this conversation the other day that we want to do a mission trip as a team. And we may just do one in the United States. Like the first one we do may not be to Africa or, Haiti or anything like that. It may just be like, there's a lot of people in our own country that, that need help. So I don't know. That's my why, man. Like, it's such a bigger purpose than us. And then when you can go out with that purpose in mind, like, you're going to mop so many other sales guys out there because they're worried about getting a Ferrari or they're worrying about this or that. And nice things, man. You've got a goal to get your sweetie a nice car one day. And that's awesome. Like, there's nothing wrong with materialistic stuff. Work hard. That's okay. But it's so much bigger than that. And that's what I appreciate about you. That's what I appreciate about the team, that we're building. And honestly, we love Lexi. We love Kylo. Like, that's the funnest part of leading this team is like, it's so much more than just you and Nick and Ellie. Like, Ellie's got several kids, and it's fun because you don't just get Ellie, you get Bryce, and you get kiddos, you know.
It's a family.
Yeah. And, you know, one day if we can get Adam married off, you know, we'll, you know, so.
Any takers?
Chris dating show now. No. So, but no, man, let's just wrap it up. Seriously, I appreciate what you do. We appreciate that Lexi, you know, supports you. And I'm always humbled by the amount of, by my team that'll help us like push through, because I'm not naive. You could go work somewhere else. Like, it's not the only job you know, yeah, somebody might not hire you with that background.
No, they wouldn't.
You know, but in all seriousness, like we love you. We appreciate you. And we just look forward to watching your family grow and just see how we can change our local community, man.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I mean, I know I've said it a million times, but thank you again for the opportunity. It really has changed my entire life. Like, we're looking at being in the position where Lexi's going to be able to be a stay-at-home mom, and that's like a dream of both of ours, because we don't want to be handing our kid off to someone else. So it's changed a lot of things about my life, and I really appreciate it.
You put the work in, brother. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the Hoel Roofing and Remodeling podcast. Have a great day.